Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are going to do two recipes in this video today. It is going to be broccoli cheese soup, which Jason has been asking for a lot lately and I keep promising it. So today is the day I'm going to make it. And as a little extra to go along with it, we're going to make homemade bread bowls to serve it in. So that is going to be today's video. And I'm also going to try to make a dessert for tonight. And if I get that accomplished, then that's going to be on the next video that comes along. So stay tuned for that. But if I do, you'll see me in the same clothes because it's all on the same night. So let's get going. The bread dough has to rise for an hour and then you make it into balls and then it has to rise for 30 more minutes before you bake it. So we're gonna go ahead and start with that and then get it to rising. And then once we get it into the balls and while that rises 30 minutes and then it bakes, we're gonna do the soup. All right, sorry about the dishwasher. It's right here, but I have to run it and it takes like 2 hours to run a cycle, but I can't wait 2 hours to run it, so it's just gonna have to run. So hopefully you can hear me, and I'm so sorry about the noise, but it is what it is. First step is to get 2.5 cups of warm water in a mixing bowl. Now, you don't want it to be hot because it will kill the yeast, but you want it to be warm enough that the yeast will wake up. 2.5. Active dry yeast, not instant yeast, or if you only have instant and you need to do the conversion, like Google what the conversion would be from active dry to instant. I use the Red Star active dry yeast that comes in like the vacuum sealed brick. Jason typically orders it for me on Amazon. So I'm almost out. This is my second brick, so I probably need to order some more soon. So to the warm water, you're going to add 4.5 teaspoons of the yeast. One tablespoon of sugar. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then you're gonna stir this all together and you're gonna let it proof for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna set a timer, and then while that's proofing, I'm gonna put all the other things away that I don't need and get out my other ingredients so that I am ready to go. 5 minutes are up. So I have measured out here 4 cups of plain all-purpose flour. To that, I am going to add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. This is coarse kosher salt because I had bought it to make homemade soft pretzels. So we're just gonna use what I have, but if you have the fine, that would probably be better. And we're gonna add it to the flour because if you add it in here, it's gonna kill the yeast. So wanna be sensitive with the yeast. So I just kind of mix it in a little bit. We're gonna add the dough hook because we live in a day and age where technology can do the hard work and I don't have to. So we're gonna let the mixer do the kneading. I'm gonna add in some of this flour. The total amount of flour you're gonna end up using is gonna be between 6 and 6.5 cups, but you're gonna start off with 4 cups and then we're gonna slowly add in like 1/4 of a cup at a time, and you're gonna knead it until a ball starts to form that is not sticky. So it's kind of like my cinnamon roll recipe. Got those 4 cups in. It says keep going until a ball forms. Well, we're far from a ball. So we're gonna start with the 1/4 of a cup at a time. That makes 4 1/4. Remember, we're supposed to go between 6 and 6.5. 4.5. This makes 6 whole cups of flour right here. So the ball is starting to form, but it's not enough flour to hold it in a ball shape. It still goes back to the sides of the bowl. So we're still gonna need to add some more. And then it says once you get it to a ball, let the mixer knead it for 3 to 4 minutes. And if you have to, add 2 tablespoons at a time to it. So see, this is gonna be 6 1/4 Now I think we're getting there. So now we're gonna let the mixer knead it until it is no longer sticky. And if I need to add a couple tablespoons at a time, then I will. Okay, so it's been kneading for a while. It's not exactly a ball form, but it's also not sticky. So that's how I know it's ready. I have a metal bowl here that I have coated in some olive oil. We're gonna take the dough off, put it in this bowl and turn it to coat it in the oil. And then it is going to sit right here on this nice warm countertop above the dishwasher. Another reason to let the dishwasher run anyway, so that it will be a nice warm environment for this dough to rise. And it will sit here in this bowl with a towel over it for 1 hour to rise. And then we'll come back. It has been an hour, and look at the dough. Wow. So we're gonna move this. The next step, I have washed my hands and taken off my rings because we're gonna punch this dough down. I'm gonna flour this surface, turn it out, put it into an even log, and then cut it into portions and put it over here ready to bake into bowls. So punch it down. That's like so satisfying. Okay. Get some flour. Okay. And we're just gonna put it into an even log, it says. And we're gonna cut it in half. And then each half gets cut into thirds. It's probably not exact. I know it's not exact, but that's okay. And then you're just gonna take each third and fold it into a ball by tucking the ends underneath it. Notice there's no real kneading going on. We're just gonna form a ball. And then we're gonna set them over here on this baking sheet. And they were going to rise again for another 30 minutes. At the end of the 30 minutes, we're gonna make an egg wash with an egg white and some water, brush the tops, and they will bake. So while these are rising, we're gonna set the oven to 375. Got the bread bowls over there rising on top of the dishwasher because it is on its sterilized phase, so it's nice and warm over there. And in this pot, we're gonna start the soup. This is 1 stick of butter that has been melted. And then you are going to dice up, I did it very finely, so maybe Jason won't notice it. Shh, don't tell him it's in there. 1 small onion. And you're gonna put it in the melted butter. And you're gonna cook it just until the onion is tender. And since I diced this pretty fine, it shouldn't be but just a minute. So we're gonna get this in there. Let that start cooking. While we open the broccoli, you need 2 16-ounce bags of broccoli. These are the ones that I got from Sam's. So you get 4 of these in a great big bag, and these are 16-ounce bags. You need 2 of these. And then you need 1 box plus 2 1/4. It's actually 3 1/4, but we need to save 1 cup for later of chicken broth. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure out. So now this is kind of tender. We're gonna add our broccoli. 1, 2. And the broth. And then after you get the broth and the broccoli in, you are going to, it says bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer, but my stove, once you get it to a boil, there is no getting it to go back down to a simmer. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it on like a medium. And then once it comes to a simmer, you need to simmer it for 20 minutes. So in that 20 minutes, I am going to go get the Velveeta cut and ready to go, and the cheddar cheese measured out. And that way we will be ready. It's been 30 minutes. So these have risen, and I just have an egg white mixed with like a tablespoon of water in here, not the yolk, just the white. We're gonna brush the tops of these and we're gonna put them in the oven. It's already at 375 and they are going to bake, I wanna say 25 minutes. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen here. I have to look at the recipe. Until they're nice and golden brown, and then they will be ready. So while they bake, then we will finish off this soup. It was 22 to 25 minutes. I've set the timer for 22 minutes and we will check it then. So right now this has been going for 20 minutes and now it's time to add in the cheeses. So the first thing is a half of a regular size block of Velveeta, and I am using the regular Walmart brand, Kroger brand, generic, whichever one is the cheapest. So you're just gonna add half of that in, obviously cut into chunks, so it will melt a little more smoothly. And then it says a cup of shredded cheddar. I am not gonna measure, I'm going to eyeball it. There's always more. If somebody wants to add more to their bowl, they can do that. Then you're gonna add in 2 cups of half and half. One and a half teaspoons of garlic powder. All right, you're gonna stir all this together and let this cook for another 10 minutes until all this cheese is melted and incorporated all the way through. And then we're gonna come back with the last cup of broth and some cornstarch and it will be ready. So we've got about 10 minutes and then we will finish this off and then the bread should be done just not too long after that. It's been 10 minutes. It looks really good, but the recipe doesn't say to do this, but I'm gonna use my immersion blender because there's some pretty big pieces of broccoli in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this just to kind of blend some of it to smaller pieces. And then we'll finish it off. Again, not a lot, just a little. The last step for the soup is the last cup of chicken broth, and then I mixed in a half a cup of cornstarch and just mixed it together with a fork to make a slurry. So now we are going to add this into the soup and it will thicken it. And I'm gonna let this go while the bread finishes. It's got another like 7-ish minutes, and then we should be good. Supper will be ready. It looks so yummy. Okay, this is 25 minutes. Willow, get back, it's hot. Get back. Get back. Okay, so this is 25 minutes. I checked it at 22 minutes. They weren't quite brown enough for my liking, so I left them an extra 3, and this is what they look like. They're good and hard and crusty, which is what we want. And we'll let them cool. And then when we're ready to eat, I'm gonna slice the top off just a little bit and then dig all the insides out, put that to the side so we can use that for dipping and fill them up with soup. All right, Jason's home. These are cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and very gently slice the top off. That. Then we're just gonna pull it out and make a bowl. And then we're gonna put soup in it. And then we can add some more cheese on top. We're gonna leave the bread around the side like this for dipping, so we can dip it. But you don't wanna pull the bottom or you will have a leak. Pull it around like this. All right, see, so we got our top. There we go. Now let's put some soup in it. Ta-da! And then a little cheese on top. And there you have it. Now all you need is a spoon and dig in. And that's it. Hollowed out bread bowl, put the soup in it, sprinkle cheese on top, you're done. So this is Jason's. Bailey's eating. You ready? Ready? Okay. That's gonna do it for this video. We'll see you on the next one. I'm not gonna do the dessert. I will do that another day. So we just have to look for that later. Bye. Peace.